Welcome back to another episode of How Did They Grow? I created this podcast because I wanted you to learn how other coaches, freelancers, service providers, and course sellers are growing their business, landing 10 to 20 new clients every single month, paying them 50, 100, 200K months. See, if they've done it, you can too. And that's just the reality. And I want you to listen to these podcasts to understand what strategies are they using, what techniques are they exploring, because it's in these gems that you can apply it to your business and actually scale things up. When you're ready and you feel like you actually want to learn practical, proven methodologies, or even you want to hire a team that can build you a profitable personal brand, book in a chat with our team because we can guarantee you go viral and guarantee you get clients for your business.
And welcome to the show, guys. This is the How Did They Grow podcast. And today we have on Mark Satterfield. Tell me I pronounced that right.
You sure did.
Amazing, Mark. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Mark.
Well, Mike, I am exclusively focused on advising my clients on how to sell products, goods, and services to the affluent market. So lots of my clients are in luxury real estate, many are in financial services, others are in hospitality, concierge medical practice, private aviation, lots and lots of different things, but they all have one thing in common, which is that they want to sell their particular services or products to people who are wealthy. And that's my niche. Been doing it for 30 years. Have written 14 books. Been blessed that 6 of them have gone to bestseller status. And then, as we were chatting before we started the program, I also host the nation's fourth most popular marketing podcast called the Velvet Rope Playbook.
Amazing. This is all amazing. You have what's it called? What can I call it? A very big what's the word?
Niche. I'm the kind of proverbial inch wide and a mile deep. I don't do much outside of affluent marketing, but within affluent marketing, if you're focused on selling your stuff to the wealthy, it's me and just 2 or 3 other guys who are the people you want to be following.
Amazing. What is the world of affluent marketing, and why is that the best way? I'm assuming it's the best way since you're in it. So how does someone transition into affluent marketing? Just break that down, please.
Well, I guess why in the world would somebody want to sell stuff to people who don't have any money? That doesn't make a lot of sense. You're depending upon what you sell, some people can sell to the middle class and the mid-market, but if you are selling high ticket items, if you're selling high status items, if you're selling high value services, look, the wealthy are going to do business with one of 3 groups of people. The people they know, people who are referred to them by people they know, or people who are recognized experts in their field. So the challenge becomes, how do you get into one or more of those groups? And that's one of the things that I cover in this book, The Affluent Marketing Blueprint, which is how do you go about doing it? Because quite frankly, what works with the middle market, what works with the middle class, doesn't work with the affluent. You got to use different kinds of strategies. So that's my particular focus. And obviously the reason why you want to focus on that market is because, if you try to spend a lot of money, time, and effort selling to people who can't afford what you have to offer, it becomes kind of a colossal waste of time. Nobody wants to do that.
Definitely. Makes a lot of sense. Let me kind of ask you, what is this affluent marketing? Is it mainly brick and mortar, like on ground? Does it deal with a lot of online stuff?
Ask me the question again.
What I meant is like affluent marketing. You said you have to deal with people, whether they have to know you, they have to be recommended or referred, or that you have to be recognized. Now, when you say recognized, I imagine that has a little bit to do with your personal brand and your reputation. Maybe online, maybe offline, but generally affluent marketing. How does that tie to being online and social media and personal branding?
Well, social media is a big part of it because that's how you build your brand. And that's how you gain visibility and recognition. So having a presence on Instagram, having a presence on Facebook, having a presence on LinkedIn is all a part of creating your own personal branding ecosystem. Having visibility on Google search, having visibility on YouTube is very helpful for when people are actually searching. So, we'll take someone like yourself. You guys are in the social media business. You help businesses get more social media awareness, right? That's fundamentally your business. Well, guess what? There's a gazillion guys who do what you did. And every day in my inbox comes, some, message from somebody that I've never known who says, hey, I want to help you with your social media. I want to raise your visibility. Will you spend 15 minutes talking to me? And the answer is, of course, no. Because I don't know you. I have no interest in getting to know you. I'm a busy guy. All the people that you are trying to do business with are busy guys. So that doesn't work. So what do smart guys like you do? Well, what you do is you say, okay, one of a few things. One, I'm going to carve out a niche. I'm going to do social media for people who offer high value services. So I'm going to do social media strictly for consultants and advisors. So immediately you've narrowed the market down and you're the social media people for that particular niche. Then the other thing you do is you say, okay, since Mark doesn't particularly want to talk to me because he doesn't know who I am, he doesn't know if I'm any good or just going to be a waste of time. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create something which has got a lot of value, and I'm going to offer it for free. That's your classic lead magnet, and it could be a video, it could be a PDF. I use books just because that's what I do. I write books, and I spend a lot of money, time, and effort getting these things on the bestseller list. And lo and behold, a lot of people buy the books. A lot of people love the books. And then people, call my company and want to, hire us to do various things for them. Same thing for you. You create some sort of really cool thing that introduces, some aspect of social media, tells me something I don't know, isn't some dumbass, lame thing that, I've heard a million times before. Yeah. And that's how you start to get attention. Because quite frankly, in my world, in your world, in all God's children's world, there's a lot of competition. So that's really what we're focusing on, is how can you do something that's different so you can break out of the middle of that proverbial bell-shaped curve.
Amazing, amazing. So the name of the game is basically standing out in the right way, making yourself different, making yourself niche, would you say?
Right. But without going so far that you're just like, freaking weird. We don't want that. We want to be the person that, but you want to be the guy that, is, that I go, hey, I'm a professional service provider and I need to raise my visibility in social media. Mike's the guy that I should be talking to because Mike gives me a lot of great information. Mike gives me a lot of good ideas. Mike obviously knows what he's talking about. The problem is, most people, they just want to sell. And they are just constantly yammering away at people going, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. And, maybe it works if you're, gonna, talk to people who, quite frankly, aren't going to be great clients. But if you think about it for a moment, you contact somebody, like me, completely cold and say, hey, you got 15 minutes. You got 15 minutes to talk to me? Who's going to take you up on that offer? The only people going to take you up on that offer are people who don't have anything going on in their life. So they got 15 minutes to talk to you. They, they don't have anything going on. They're not making any money. Their business is for shit. So, they're not going to, they basically don't have much going on. And guess what? Those people also don't have any money. So it becomes a vicious circle.
Definitely. I definitely see that. How has your experience been with the affluent? Do they do a lot of their quote unquote shopping in terms of getting their services online, or is that mostly on the ground?
Well, it depends. The affluent, like everyone, will go to Amazon and buy stuff. But
Yeah.
if you're talking about services,
Yes.
it's all about. Let's forget buying stuff for a moment, because anyone who's approaching this with "I want to sell stuff to people,"
Yeah.
it just isn't going to work. What you
Yes.
got to do is you got to figure out, how can I develop a relationship with these people? Because the relationship, and this is so true with the affluent market, the relationship has to be in place first before someone's going to buy something from you. So if you're in my world, if you're in your world, if you're a real estate agent, if you're a financial advisor, I don't care what you are, what you need to be doing is thinking about, okay, how do I build a relationship? How can I get this person to, raise their hand and express a little bit of interest in who I am and what I offer? And then how can I nurture that relationship through social media posts, through direct email, through video? How can I create content that is going to build that trust and credibility? And then over time, and people hate it when I say this because it takes time, but over time, the affluent and the wealthy will then start to say, okay, this is somebody who seems to know what they're talking about. And then when they do actually have a need, they'll reach out to you. So it's not a question of whether they buy online or buy offline, because quite frankly, they'll buy both, but they're going to buy from people who they know. And that's the reason why when you're starting from a cold start, you got to focus, forget about selling shit. You got to be focused on building the relationship. That's the key.
Amazing. Focus on serving, focus on giving that value.
I hope you're enjoying this podcast. I hope you're taking notes. I hope you're learning so much practical wisdom, because that's what I really wanted from this podcast. Now, I just want to quickly say, if you're looking for a team that can actually help you explode and go viral with your personal brand with proven methodologies, I say this because I've been doing this for the past 5 years. We've got a team of 30 people who are ready to go ahead and explode your brand so you can get clients begging to work with you. Have a chat with one of our advisors. You can book in a chat using one of the links around this video, because that chat might just change your life.
Let me kind of ask you, how has your journey been? How has your journey with you and you're building your personal brand and affluent marketing and all that? What has your experience been with social media? Has it been something that got you a lot of clients? How have you leveraged that?
Oh yeah, social media is a part of my company's overall marketing effort. So every single day, we post on LinkedIn. Every single day, we post a newsletter on LinkedIn newsletters. Multiple times a day, we post on Facebook. Multiple times a day, we post on Instagram. And it is focused on interesting videos, but also the call to action being using social media as a tool to get people to go someplace where we are going to offer them something. So all the posts are saying, hey, do you feel uncomfortable interacting with the wealthy and the affluent if you are not yourself wealthy and affluent? Well, no worries, because lots of people have that kind of issue. We created a program for you in terms of building self-confidence with the wealthy. Go to getwealthyclients.com and learn more. So they see the post on Instagram, they see the post on Facebook, they see the post on LinkedIn, and they go to getwealthyclients.com. And lo and behold, there's a page there that is offering something kind of cool, something kind of interesting. Just give us your name and email, and we'll give you this really cool thing for free. And then we're able to start building the relationship. So yeah, we use it, and it's an important part. Now, do we sell stuff off of social media? No, of course not. But nobody
Yeah,
who sells to the affluent does. That's not
yeah,
what it's doing.
exactly, exactly,
I'm
exactly.
also I'm
People who
also not
sell,
I'm also not a teenage girl, so I mean, I don't play in that market. I don't do TikTok. I mean, that's none of my clients are on TikTok. So anyway.
yeah, makes sense, makes sense. And what you said definitely makes sense. Is like people who buy stuff act like buy stuff by clicking on social media. It's usually low ticket stuff. It's usually a $39 ebook or something. But if you're buying a mentorship, a $10,000, that's why people have to go through quote unquote sales processes. They have to speak to someone. They have to build up that trust level.
Right. Well, that's what sales funnels are all about, which is,
Yes.
getting people to, self-identify themselves, and, look, the easiest way, for any of us to dispel the skepticism that the world has about us, and the world is very skeptical. When
Yes.
people first hear about me, they assume I know absolutely nothing about my particular area. When they first hear about you, they assume you know absolutely nothing about your. I mean, that's just the way the world is. So, how do we defeat that skepticism? Well, the way we do it is we do it through content. And over time, if
Okay.
we produce great content, people will say, okay, this person understands this person understands me. This person understands the issues I'm facing. This person has some good ideas. So it's all content driven. So you create your content, and then the question becomes, okay, well, that's all well and good. How do we get that content out to people? And that's where social media comes in, is getting the content out to people. But that's really the purpose in the world that we operate in. That's the purpose of social media. It's not to sell stuff to people, because we're not
Exactly.
selling we're not selling little belt buckles and doohickeys and all we're
Yeah.
we're not in the trinket business. Now, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with being in the trinket business. I'm just not
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah. It's not the game you're playing.
No,
Social media is
no.
like no, I'm listening.
Well, I mean, the
I'm listening.
problem winds up being, though, is that people who sell high value services, high ticket items, think that the strategy that's going to work for selling trinkets is going to work for selling high ticket, and it doesn't. So
Yes, definitely. Social media is like nurturing. It's more nurturing. You have to nurture these people, especially when we're talking about the high ticket stuff. You have to nurture these people because are you familiar with the study that Google did about the 7-hour rule?
Mhm.
Well, Google
No.
did a study. I don't know how long back. They said before someone buys something from you on social media, something high ticket, right? They have to watch they have to consume. It doesn't have to be visual, but they have to consume at least 7 hours of your content over 11 different touch points, over 4 different social media platforms. And why this is amazing is because these numbers have never been this high. So it's because of the surge in people on social media doing the quote unquote, like you said, people in your email and your inbox saying they can do stuff and they actually can't. People trust them, and their guard gets higher and higher every single day.
Right. And then, of course, less so in my business than yours, with the advent of Upwork, it's driving the fees down. I mean, you go to Upwork and post a job for social media manager, you can get really good people in third world countries who will work for $10 an hour and be very happy to do it.
Yeah.
And will do very good posting. You're going to have to create the content yourself, but they'll manage the process for you. So for somebody's like yourself that's in the social media management business, it's all the more important you carve out a niche, that you figure out, okay, how does my business, how can I justify $10,000 or $20,000 or $50,000? How can I justify that when on the surface they can go to Upwork and pay $10 an hour? So That's a real challenge. Now you can do it, but it's all because, and you can do it if you brand, if you provide the content, if you do all the things that you have to do. Otherwise, it's a constant race to the bottom. And there's always going to be, somebody in a third world country who is going to do it for, $8 an hour, $10 an hour. And the biggest challenge, again, more so for guys like you than for me, is the fact that they're actually not bad.
Yeah. Definitely. Let me kind of ask you then. This is going to be kind of the last question because you're short on time. What would you say like, let's say this is some sort of a consulting call. What would you say to us? What can we do to kind of get that leverage, get that step?
Well, first of all, niche. Figure out, okay, social media, but social media for who? Yeah, I mean,
okay,
I'm a market.
Let's make this interactive.
Go ahead.
I said, let's make this interactive. So, yeah, I said, let's make this interactive. So you asked social media for who? So for us, it's social media for coaches and experts. Coaches and experts on social media who have a high ticket program. So what else?
That's not a good enough niche.
Not niche enough, right?
No, because again, lots and lots of people do that, and that's too broad. It is so competitive out there that you've got to narrow it down. Social media for life coaches, social media for hypnotherapists, social media for a very specific group. Now, remember, there's what's called message to market match, and that simply means, to what extent do I see a reflection of myself in your marketing materials? So if you niche it the way you just did, that's better than just saying social media for everyone, but it still isn't narrow enough. Now, what you can do, and this is the cool part, is you can set up multiple parallel paths. So you can have the social media for the hypnotherapist, social media for the life coach, social media for the weight loss person, social media for the fill in the blank. And, it is, they're all working along parallel paths. The person who gets your message thinks, oh, hey, Mike focuses exclusively on me. This is great. I want to get to know Mike. But that's the way you got to do it. Otherwise, people don't pay attention to you. And if they don't pay attention to you, they're not going to hear your message. If they don't hear your message, they're not going to get your content. If they don't get your content, they're not going to really get enthusiastic to the point where they'll say, yes, I'm willing to pay you a lot of money.
Definitely. Amazing. This has been really amazing having you on. I know you have to go. Where can the people go to find out and learn more about what you do, Mark?
GetWealthyClients.com.
Wealthyclients.com. Definitely.
Yep.
Definitely. What about
GetWealthyClients.com? That's where to go. All right. I got to hop. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I hope your listeners will find this to be helpful. Okay. Take care.
I really hope you enjoyed this podcast. I want you to go away and execute everything there is that you've learned. Now, one thing I will say is if you're in a position where you're ready to actually take things to another level, you want structured, clear guidance, you want a team that can actually help accelerate you, book in a chat with our advisors. Why? We can blow up your personal brand to attract clients begging to work with you. All you got to do is book in a chat with our advisors and we can help make it happen. Sound fair enough?